Yep, just say go and we hit play. But you feel me though? Like I immediately went back to these videos, like, because this was right before I left.
I am Leonard Patterson. When I was a young man, only 23 years old, I joined the Communist Party. I was a member of the National Executive Committee of the American Young Communist League. In 1930, I was the official communist candidate for election to New York State Assembly. I knew Gus Hall and other top-ranking American communists very well
Hmm.
because I trained with them at the Lenin University in Moscow.
Hmm.
I joined the party because I honestly thought the communists were trying to help American Negroes. I broke away from the party when it became clear to me what the communists were really up to was to use the Negro people in this country as cannon fodder in a violent and bloody revolution aimed at the establishment of the American Soviet dictatorship. It was that simple, and it is still that simple today. Make no mistake about it. What is happening in the United States right now under the banner of civil rights is exactly what has happened in China, in Cuba, in Algeria, and many other places around the world.
Hmm. Yep.
I say peace and benedictions. She's sounding a little too familiar. You know what's crazy about this video right here?
Hmm.
My man was staring in the video. He was staring in the lens of the camera hard as shit. Like that's almost like a trained professional, or maybe somebody told him to do that. You know, I would almost be inclined if somebody told him to say that shit. You know,
Hmm.
I say peace and benedictions. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Yes.
shout out to everybody tuning in, coming in. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Just
you know, we just laying the foundation, you know,
salute.
for some things that we want to talk about tonight. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? It's a blue moon, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? They got all of this blue shit going on, right?
Right.
Did you
Yep.
get a chance to watch the Democratic convention? Or at
Uh,
least
no, I seen the. I can't tell if it was the beginning crowds or the middle or the end or whatever it was, but they definitely had some shit going on. What was that? The DNC.
well, I know them protesters is up there. They running amok. You know what I mean?
Oh,
You know, at this point, you know, the Palestine protesters, they like domestic terrorists at this point, man. You know what I'm saying? Like when you messing with people, you know, let me put this video up here real quick. So while we talking about this is these motherfuckers at the oh shit. So these people bum rushing the show, right? To come protest, do whatever the fuck crazy shit they want to do, right? So, you know, a lot of stores up there is boarded up, you know what I mean? You know, for
right.
good reason, you know what I mean? Because domestic terrorists is on the scene, right? Because you got all kind of see, this is the thing about protests. When you go to protest, I want you to play the clip from the old head lady after we talk about this real quick.
Okay.
When you at protests, people just pull up to random events with people you don't even know from a can of paint. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You don't know these people. You don't know who they work for, or if they on a work detail or something. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like y'all go out there screaming no justice, no peace, and all that shit alongside people who's out there fucking up shit. You know what I mean?
All
You
right.
know, just like the girl Meatball, like she got locked up for saying everybody must eat while the people was running in the store behind her. You know what I'm saying? and they lock her up for what? Inciting a riot. You know what I mean? So going to these motherfucking protests, it's like a fucking trap. You know what I mean? But play that clip from the elder sister. You know what I mean? Because
gotcha. Yeah.
I think that goes right with this.
Yes, it do. Yeah, let's see. Right on time.
I'm Judy. Years I was a member of the Communist Party, serving as an undercover agent. That time I learned that the communist conspiracy had been planning and working for years to bring violent revolution to America. It was to be a communist revolution. But the great majority of the American people would not be allowed to realize that until it had already happened. If all goes according to the communist blueprint, Americans will believe that the chaos and violence has something to do with civil rights. Our enemies were quick to find our weakest point for their attack. They knew that racial differences could provide them with an excellent wedge to divide our people. Their strategy simply has been to keep hammering on that wedge, to drive it deeper into our social structure, to open all wounds that have long since healed, and deliberately to create new ones wherever they can.
Now, he acted like a good nigga for the white folks. I tell you, I don't want to even be around no more good niggas. I'm with them, no good Negroes. That's what they call Rodriguez, a good Negro. I want to be with the bad niggas, because I know what's happening with the bad niggas. That's where I want to be. I want to be with the niggas. I want to be with the bad niggas that don't want to ride on the back of the bus no more. And this is what Elder Davis will call you. And the bad niggas is not going to work for $18 or $20 no. I want to be for the bad niggas who going to register and vote. I want to be for the bad niggas going to swim on any God's beach where water is flowing. I want to be
Man.
Man, you know, they just playing the same song, like, you know, exploiting these same wounds, ripping off scabs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I seen this movie today, Antebellum, where they supposed to have a modern day slave plantation hidden in plain sight at a civil rights restoration memorial thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? So these people are in slavery, right? And majority of them is black women. You know, these white people's going out and grabbing up, you know, sisters. You know, it's a movie that's aimed at, you know, just targeted at sisters. Majority of everything you see nowadays is targeted at sisters. You know, but you know, this movie is basically alluding to some nefarious type shit. Like, yo, like, so white people was anxious to recreate this old slave theme and put black people back into slavery. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And somebody thought that was like a good choice for a movie. Why? Why would you think that is, bro?
You had every option for everything else.
Could that be some predicated malevolence? A little bit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But you know, these people, you know, you're hearing this C word. You know, people talking about commies and all this, right? You know, even like how they say that the Black Power fist is a communist fist. You know what I mean? You know, and is that a coincidence or a coincidence, right? So you see how, you know, they keep trying to tether black people with communism, right? So here you have this black president, right? You know what I'm saying? Coming with this communist-esque agenda, right? Not calling it that, but it's looking like that, right? And you know, that's a bad word in America. You know what I mean? bad word. You see the polls plummeting. You know, people is disgruntled. You know what I mean? You know, the cronies not posting as much. You know what I mean? But you know, people told on themselves today, right?
Yeah, right.
So we're gonna get to that in a minute. So they told on themselves. But all right, so let's go to some of the news clips today.
Yeah. So, what you need to know.
Fuck out of here. These motherfuckers. All right, so let me go to this news clip from the other day. Well, I guess the other day. Because it's after 12 now. Way after 12, actually. So all right, let me pull this up. Where we at with it? Oh yeah, we got all kind of great. I got all kind of good clips, man.
Point out something Jessica said, that Trump began as a millionaire and now he's a billionaire. I think that makes him an expert in this. I would rather listen to somebody who began as a millionaire and is now a billionaire than somebody who doesn't have a damn clue about economics. I've never heard a candidate today more unsure of themselves on a topic than Kamala Harris. I think she's been burdened by the weight of expectations put on her by the media. I've never seen a better campaign ad for Trump. She's campaigning better for Trump than Trump is. First, let's talk about the down payment issue on the House. A lot of this stuff is infuriating, because they're treating the American public like idiots. She makes a proposal that is only half an equation. The first half is, here's a nice thing for you. The second half is missing. Who pays for it? You saw this with student loan theft, described as forgiveness. Who paid for it? You paid for it. You see with immigration policy, who's footing the billions and all that free stuff? You're paying for it. Nothing is free. Nothing is free. And the sooner or later you figure that out, the better off you're going to be. And that's directed at Democrats who don't understand that these policies are going to sink this country. You know, if you cap prices, you increase scarcity by diminishing competition. People can call her a communist, but you gotta explain this, because the media won't ask the follow-up questions. How do you plan on doing this? Please give me an example. Give me an example where industries got together in a room and decided to drastically increase prices. That doesn't exist. The only example they'll have is, oh, you know, a bodega raised prices on umbrellas when it rained. That's all they got. There is no payoff for industries to artificially inflate their prices, because the people who drive the prices are the consumers. That is, if you want to understand supply and demand, it's the consumers who drive the prices. There is absolutely no debate on this. There is not a single economist who would agree that this is the right thing to do. We can go and talk about Eastern Bloc countries. You can look at the cheap, terrible cars that they made and the appliances they made, but you already know that story. So how do you keep a debate alive if we know this is a fraudulent idea? You don't talk to economists. You listen to politicians or talking heads like me who have to do the research, because I'm sick and tired of hearing people pretend like they know what they're talking about on TV, but they don't. So you won't see economists on other shows, other networks asking these questions. Like, can you give me an example of how this is done? What are the major industries? What is the right price? What is too high? What is too low? Can the government set prices based on not having a knowledge of an industry? What do you mean exactly by price gouging? How is that done beyond unique exceptions? Price gouging is a weak phrase directed at weaker minds.
Can I just add?
Bravo!
You start sounding like a communist. That shit pisses white people off, yo. Like, he was fired up about that shit. You know, see, one thing about communism, right, is it suggests that people should share. You know what I mean? You should share, and everybody should just. It's like having a community toilet or some shit. You know what I mean? Everybody should just share. So when you're dealing with thieves don't like to share. You haven't realized that. You know what I'm saying? So when you ask thieves to share, they would get extremely angry. You know what I'm saying? They don't even want to be held accountable for the shit that they stole. You know, land, resources, people. etc. Right? You know what I'm saying? So they
We'll
don't even
start there.
they don't even want that to be brought up. So when you bring up this idea of, hey, you should share the wealth, right? And you shouldn't be basically the idea of people, the American dream, as you will, to achieve this millionaire lifestyle. You might as well just kiss that goodbye and just forget about that, because all of us should just be in the equal middle class. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And people who made it past the middle class is like, fuck you. Like, I'm not, and that goes for anybody, fuck you. I'm not trying to go back to that level for everybody else. I work hard. They should work hard. And that's pretty much the consensus all across America. I don't give a fuck who you ask. If people work hard for something, they're going to expect other people. If you want what I got, go out and do what I did. You know what I'm saying? So you can't suggest to people, hey, yo, you should just you should just not expect to get as much as you've been getting, because we want to give some of what y'all earn or your success to somebody else. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? This is, see, they try to make this like, this is La. You see, we told y'all La La Land is closed, and now you seeing that the lights is out in La La Land where they're supposed to be on. The shit's blinking, signs is hanging and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because La La Land is run down. You know what I mean?
Boarded up. Businesses are boarded up.
Right. And they telling y'all this shit, and they like, yeah, you can have what you want, And it's like, nah, y'all shit ain't working. The shit ain't working no more. You know what I mean? Reality is setting in, So when these motherfuckers is telling you, oh no, you can't have nothing for yourself. You're not gonna do no reparations and nothing like that. But how about we ask white people to share with us? How about that? Did that sound good to you? You know what I'm saying? But say they press it up in all these fancy words of equity and all this other shit. He's just asking people to share with you. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking bullshit, yo. It's crazy.
Trying to get it a whole nother way, but they run the same play. They just running the same play, because people like, nobody spoke about that part of the civil rights era, the civil rights era. Let's recoin that phrase, because there was a whole lot of shilty shit that went on during that time, and we're gonna start revoking black cards again, because you know what I mean. It's been some time that's been passed, and some people didn't set examples of where we need to start revoking these black cards. Because I don't care what your pockets say, you know what I mean? Out here, you ain't good. Your money is no good here. You feel what I'm saying?
Well, a lot of people been on Steve Harvey for the shit that he been saying, right? Well, he with the alley-oops that he been throwing Kamala, that people feel like that he shouldn't be throwing, And for the sake of black people, yeah, you should be asking her real questions. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, that's like a Trojan horse effect. Like, you just welcome something in with open arms. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? You don't check this thing out. You don't know what's inside.
Right.
You don't know if the person got a trick up their sleeve.
Or maybe you do.
But yeah.
I heard about her.
Good point. So, let's get to that footage to see what we talking about. What did that little sagacious hint mean? All right. They kicked me out of the room. Oh no, I ain't kicked me out of the room. All right, so we got to wait for this clip to load up real quick.
And went on to say that he believes other celebrities are being paid to support Vice President Kamala for her bid for the White House, right? Umar specifically called you out, Steve. He called out Ricky Smiley. He claimed that both of you were paid to support Kamala Harris's campaign. Here's what he said.
But if we're going to be honest, Steve Harvey and Ricky Smiley, and I love you both, no hate to my big brothers, but if we're going to be honest, Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey, y'all only carried on because y'all got paid to carry on. Can we please be honest? Can we see? I want y'all to understand, overstand, and understand what King Kong is talking about. Y'all carried on because y'all got paid to carry on. Kamala Harris and the Democratic plantation is paying you celebrities, paying you to shame black people into voting. Y'all know we not going to get nothing out of that vote. Y'all know we not going to get nothing out of that vote. Y'all know we not going to get nothing out of the vote. But they being paid, y'all being bought. They offer me $10K for an interview with Kamala Harris. I don't want your money, but we can definitely do the interview.
Steve.
Well, first of all, we're going to have her on her again, or how many other times it's needed to get her into office.
To get the vote.
Brother Umar, let me say this, man. I absolutely love some of the things you say. I really, really do, man. Some of the stuff I don't always agree with, but ain't nobody got to agree with everything I say. But let me clear the air on something.
Please.
You can't hire Steve Harvey for $10,000 to do nothing.
Hey.
Let me just A that out the way. I don't know where you got that number from, but you can't offer Steve Harvey $10,000 to do nothing.
Flag on the play.
No, you can go through the industry and ask about me.
That's
Bro, let me tell you something. Omar, let me tell you something, man. And there ain't no hate here at all, cause I like some of the work he does. I really do. Yeah. Listen, man, I don't do nothing, nothing for $10,000. Don't even insult. Don't insult the brand equity that I've been.
I gotta pause this real quick. Let me pause this real quick. So this dude is saying some crafty shit right here, right? So Umar said, now I want to put it back here. Umar said that they offered him $10,000, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
He didn't say that they're offering people $10,000. He said he offered him $10,000, and you notice that. This is now, I don't know about anybody else, but this is the first time I've ever heard Steve Harvey or anybody in the mainstream media even mention this dude's name, even mention Umar Johnson's name.
Yeah.
You know, respect to him. You know what I'm saying?
Dr. Umar Johnson.
Right, Dr. Umar Johnson. That's the first time I ever heard anybody in the media ever mention him. That's one thing that you need to highlight about this. Another thing is this: if you're saying that you familiar, that you familiar, obviously he's expressing that he has some familiarity with him, that and you like so much so that you're gonna say you like some of his work, right? But he never mentioned what his work is, right? Now, for somebody who doesn't know Umar Johnson, right, they have no sense of what Umar Johnson is about. They just you would probably think this is some other comedian or something, right? You know, Steve Harvey, who is a comedian, right? No disrespect to him, but that's how he got to do whatever else he's doing, right? A comedian, right? Somebody who jokingly said that he would be the best, you know, I was about to say some other word, you know, but we get in trouble for that. But he made a joke about being a monkey. You know what I'm saying? And the white people wanted him to be a monkey. He would be the best monkey that possible, you know. And you know, somebody who does that is you know, you already know. So so for him saying that and trying to make fun of that already, you know, in regards to what you're saying, revoked his black card, right? For even saying that from the rip. That was back when he had the you know, we was watching Star earlier. That's when he was Rughead, when he had the fake box on his head. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because Umar got a box now. I'm not saying his hair is fake or nothing. But you know, hey, look, I don't know, I wasn't there. But you know what I mean? But seriously. Like, this is the first time I ever heard him mention him, and if you didn't know him, you would think that he was talking about somebody else, like a comedian or something. He never mentioned what Umar does, right? But then he plays on this whole 10,000 shit as a joke. But mind you, Umar said that they offered him 10,000. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it from here.
Want your money, but we can definitely do the interview.
Steve.
Well, first of all, we're going to have her on her again, or how many other times it's needed to get her into office.
To get the vote.
Brother Umar, let me say this, man. I absolutely love some of the things you say. I really, really do, man. Some of the stuff I don't always agree with, but ain't nobody got to agree with everything I say.
Some of the stuff.
But let me clear the air on something.
Please.
You can't hire Steve Harvey for $10,000 to do nothing.
Hey.
Let me just A that out the way.
And B.
I don't know where you got that number from, but you can't offer Steve Harvey $10,000 to do nothing. No, you can go through the industry and ask about me.
That's
Bro, let me tell you something. Omar, let me tell you something, man. And there ain't no hate here at all, cause I like some of the work he does. I really do. Listen, man, I don't.
He said,
you see how he just fucking downplayed his name?
Right. He tried.
The sheer disrespect.
Now this clip seemed like it's starting to mess up.
No, I paused it because you can't hear when you're talking. I just paused it real quick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'll play it. Yep. Here we go. My bad.
No, it's cool.
Don't do nothing. Nothing for $10,000. Don't even insult. Don't insult the brand equity that I've built over these 30 years of television. I just don't, man. And I'm doing this absolutely free of charge because I want this country to be in her hands as opposed to Donald Trump's hands. That's why.
All right. Here's a question. I got an idea. Since he's saying that it's disrespectful to even say that Steve Harvey will be paid to do $10,000 to do anything, right? If that's the case, then why don't you, Steve Harvey, why don't you offer Umar Johnson $10,000 to come on your show and do an interview with him, right? You know, like you can respond to what he's saying on your show, right? But how about having Umar, as the elder, right? How about having Umar Johnson on the Steve Harvey show? To have it, and then even better, you can give him $10,000 because if you're familiar with his work, then you already know what he's trying to do, right?
Right.
Since we don't want to mention nothing, right? So we don't have to mention nothing. You know, we all know who do what and what do who, right? Pun intended, right? So if you saying that, right, you familiar with his work, right? You agree with some of it you don't, you disagree with. So you have some familiarity with the Dr. Umar Johnson and what he's trying to do. So you, Steve Harvey, you should offer him $10,000 because obviously it would go to something that he needs to do, right? You know what I mean? So how about that? You know what I mean? And here's another question, right? Because this spawns a question. How come these people who, like Steve Harvey, right, who say, oh, yeah, I'm familiar with him. I've seen some of his work. Well, how come these people who are too big to be paid $10,000 don't got no money for what Umar trying to do?
Right.
Yeah, I think those questions need to be answered on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, because that did sound like a deflection. Did sound like a deflection.
Do. Now, me and Ricky Smiley happen to be on the same page.
Really?
Now, we Q's now. And so is D.L. Hughley.
See that?
And Q's kind of run the airways of black radio.
Okay. All right.
I wonder why.
The Q's is running the airways of black radio.
All right, purple.
But we also understand what's at stake here. So no, I haven't received a single dollar from anybody to do what I do. And I'm doing it gladly for free.
Yes.
And I'm going to freely have her on here again and again and again. I am going to freely ask soft-ass questions. I am going to freely lob the basketball so she can slam dunk all these questions. Yes. I'm going to freely sit here and agree. So the black vote is not for sale. But it is a very important block of votes that can control the outcome of this election. And if I have my way, if it is within God's will, she will be the next president of the United States, because the alternative, see, there's only two people running for president.
Yeah.
It's Kamala Harris, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, or Donald Trump. That's the choice. So I don't know. You know, and if somebody offered you 10, you should have took it. But anybody offered me nothing. But please don't.
See, he got a career and he got an oath to uphold. So this ain't about no money. This about an oath to keep. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a Q. And like he said, the Qs is running the media, right?
Yeah.
So the Qs, just like the rest of the Divine Nine, they're gonna stick together, right? So that's what this is about. That's what this is really about. You know what I mean? You know, these black Greeks, there's more Greek than they black. Like we talked about that on the previous stream. You know, we gonna get into some more of that shit. You know, we showed y'all that connection, right? So so these people they just basically doing rituals. You know what I'm saying? And these people who have their careers based upon the oaths that they made, right? They have an oath to keep, right? Based upon the rituals and shit that they did, right. So that's really what's going on here, right? So you know they can he's not lying when he said that they didn't offer him no money, right?
He's obligated.
He's already obligated, just like the rest of them, to step and fetch, right? Now you talking about you know, black Greek organizations, right? That's supposed to have came in a time when, as Paul Mooney would say, white people wouldn't let you have a code. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they barely allowed you into the college campus, right? So somehow y'all get your own dorm and y'all start doing what y'all want, and white people don't know about it, and they ain't shut it down, and they just let them they're just gonna mimic our fraternity. So we no problem there, right?
All right.
No. Y'all they instituted that because we want to build up our little black elite class. You know what I'm saying? That do our bidding to manipulate the rest of the black community. So these people are cool with the suggestions that we make for y'all, right?
Yep,
and all
we got a whole new.
All these people who say, "Oh yeah, we're building up the community." We told y'all when you ever see these people building up the community, look at the black community. Where you see the Divine Nine at? Where do you see the fingerprints of the Divine Nine making the community a better place? No, they make their cronies and their groupies and their fellows a better place for them. You know what I'm saying? As he's telling you right now, right? So he don't care if black people got real questions that need to be answered. He's not going to ask her those questions. That's what he's telling y'all. I'm not going to even ask her those questions. I don't care that black people want to know how she feels about this, that, and the third before they give her vote. I don't care how you feel. It's only about how I feel. You know, that's what he's telling you in a service story. So even if what we're saying is bullshit, right? His service story is still telling you fuck what you're concerned about. Fuck your feelings. This is about how I feel.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Can't look at it no other way. Right. Yep. Can't look at it no other way.
But of course, a man like Steve Harvey, he would have more integrity than that, right? He wouldn't just act though. He wouldn't be self-centered and shame black people into doing things because that's what he wants them to do.
Because he's a part of an organization that's what he's supposed to do.
Right.
To dumb down the
That's
situation.
the difference. That's
If
a big difference.
if you intentionally mislead somebody, that's malfeasance, right?
Right. And he said the black vote is not for sale, right? So why y'all doing all these crafty tactics then? Somebody getting paid off of this shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's funny that they would have her in Kruger, Ohio, because she on some Dunning-Kruger shit. You know what I mean? So, the media is not having, they're not liking, the things that they saying about her in the media. You know what I mean? This is the wrong slide. Well, all right, well, look, we can go off of this right here. So look at this shit right here. This is a casting call for real Democratic people for a Democratic event. You know what I'm saying? See? Look at this shit. This because the DNC is going on right now. So real people for a casting call for DNC spot sensitive, please submit ASAP. Is no longer accepting responses. Try contacting the owner of the form if you think this is a mistake. So this is what somebody would see if they trying to sign up to be a part of the DNC right now. Right? This is a Google Forms logo right there. I thought you did it. I'm gonna just there we go. See, you know what I mean? And this ain't no we look, we don't do no fraudulent edits over here. You know what I mean? This is on the internet. Look at this shit. You want to read that for us, Pope?
Real people casting for DNC, please help spread the word. Video for the Democratic National Convention. Please apply ASAP. We need to shoot this Monday and Tuesday, April 12th and 13th in NYC one day. We're shooting a video for the Democratic National Convention. Videos about freedom, how it shows up, how we dream, how we hope, how we live into lives we want as Americans. We're casting to represent the whole of America, people of all backgrounds, ethnicities, race, jobs, roles, origins. You be filmed, asked a few questions to answer low key, low pressure, and also potentially take some portraits. Our hope is that the firm feels like a gift to the nation. Okay. Time and place, New York, exact location to be determined, wherever they want you. Monday and Tuesday, okay, whenever they had it, at the time they had it, and so on and so forth. Yep.
Just to be on point, that's August 12th, not April 12th. August 12th, yep. August 12th, August 13th. And, obviously, which is already passed. You know what I mean? But
they coincided.
Yeah, you see that they just orchestrating these shit together. You know what I mean?
Right.
Look at this. Right. And look, per diem. What does per diem mean? That's when you giving people, you provide meals and transportation.
Yep. Right. Finances on top.
So, now you would say, this is the first day. Like, a lot of people is talking about the thin crowd. And I think, just to be fair, the first day of any convention would be like, how many people really want to come to see Biden? Let's he was the keynote speaker. You know what I mean? So, what you expect, man. You know what I mean? So, this is the black vote right here, right? Now, can you this is, and you see her talking with the Southern accent and shit. They got the Southern strategy, right? That they basically, can you read that shit for us, Pope, right there?
In the political history of the United States, a campaign strategy of the Republican Party actively pursued from the 1960s that initially sought to increase and preserve support from white voters in the South by subtly endorsing racial segregation, racial discrimination, and the disenfranchisement of black voters. The strategy has also involved directly promoting conservative views on immigration, taxes, social welfare programs, law enforcement, and Red Pill Rescue, Conscious Post Game Strong.
Hey,
Uh,
you
CNN.
sound like AI right now. It's like the copy and paste joint. You know what I mean?
All right.
But yeah, we'll need that, Red. But yeah, like that's the point. I was trying to queue up some other shit while you was reading that. You know, um, but but you see, like this is the Southern strategy, right? My fault. I want to get through this slide and get through some other clips. I don't want to spend too much time on these slides. You know what I mean?
All right.
So you see, this is the layout. On the political, landscape. You know what I mean?
Oh, I
So
got it down too.
you said what?
Hey, yeah, now I got to get those other videos from that same video with the elders and the ancestors. It's got how the Bible Belt and everything else, how it's broken up,
Right.
how they got the voters in the United States and shit. Yeah, I can't read that one. That one's a little too small.
Well, it says throughout the 1930s and 40s, the Democratic Party has been the dominant political force in the country, helping to elect President Franklin D. Roosevelt 4 times and President Harry S. Truman once. Republicans face formidable obstacles in their efforts to regain the presidency and congressional majorities, particularly in solid, solid, solidly Democratic South. Wow. Now, you hear that, right? Solidly Democratic South, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what people say about the North versus the South, right? And you see like all throughout the slave movies where
The lies.
you
Yeah.
see the daunting task it is to get to the North, right? To
Mm-hmm.
get where people not trying to enslave you, right?
The experiment.
Right,
North was the experiment.
right.
Let us not forget that part.
Yeah,
We gotta go through history correctly.
yeah. That's a whole nother can of worms. But we just pointed out that the Democratic South, right?
Right.
That's where black people didn't want to be at. Is it? You know what I mean? The Dixiecrat South, right? So, all right, where we was at? Southern voters associated the Republican Party with the post-American Civil War Reconstruction era, the promotion of equal civil rights for black people. Did you hear that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The Republican, read it again. Southern voters associated the Republican Party with the post-American Civil War Reconstruction era and the promotion of equal civil rights for black people. Lord have mercy. You vote by tradition, right? Yeah, who gave you that tradition? The shit is crazy, man. All right, so where we was at? All right. The Democratic Party, on the other hand, supported the Southern traditional racist policies, including segregation, discrimination, and nearly universal disenfranchisement of black voters. So when they say that the black vote isn't for sale, right? How the fuck did we sail onto the side of slavery? We are voting with the people who not only did they have slavery, but the federal that Confederate flag that they spook you out with, that's a Democratic flag.
Right.
That's the part they don't tell you. You know, crazy. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think I read this. All right, so all right, yeah, let's move past that. I mean, because we all, I don't want to spend too much time on that. So let's get to some of these video clips here. You know what I mean? We'll get back to that on another note. You know what I mean, but y'all get the point of what we talking right there. I think we made
Covered that.
it plain in that
Right.
regard, right? So let's let's keep moving on this shit right here. So these motherfuckers is doing rituals and shit on black people, on people, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a blue moon right now, right?
Right.
So, they doing that whole ritual thing, right? You know what I mean? So I'm gonna play this clip that I put together on the socials, right? So I'm gonna throw this clip out real quick while we start to shift these gears and get in a different position. You know what I mean? How many times is a coincidence possible before it's mathematically impossible? I shape peace and benedictions, man. So look at what we got here. Why did it take the Democratic convention to go on so long, right? Because they waiting for this blue moon. You know what I mean? These motherfuckers is getting their ritual on. You know what I mean? So that's why the DNC took so long. So the Democratic Party, right? They doing some ritual type shit. You know what I'm saying? So you see this shit right here. Now look at the date, 64. The blue dragon, right? You see what these motherfuckers is doing. It's coming together. That's why they're telling you about the blue dragon. Because Kamala Harris was born in the year of the dragon. Just like her running mate is born in the year of the dragon. You know what I'm saying? So these motherfuckers is on some blue dragon, just like the Game of Thrones shit was on simultaneously when she was picking her VP. You know what I'm saying? They're getting their ritual shit on, man.
I don't hate Jews. I'm critical of them, but I don't hate them. That doesn't mean that I'm anti-Semitic. You wore a Nazi armband. That doesn't make me a hater.
I didn't get that vibe at all. I don't think we kill people in other countries to affect election outcomes. Oh, wait. No, we do it a lot and have for 80 years.
Message.
Yeah. So it might be a little predicated malevolence up in this situation. Even with that last statement, about
hate Jews,
about people out here, about these people and these proxy situations they got going on. You know what I mean? But that's a whole nother can of worms. But what you got for us, Pope? You know what I mean?
Let's see here. Man, rounding up on this part. Oh yeah, it's a few things that came up. Let's see here. Oh, here we are. Trying to work this Chromebook. Some new shit. Oh yeah, I was seeing how they've been trying to incite some shit today. Do you want to do the fact check on the what's the boy name? Eddie Griffin.
Well, we brought up a good point about that shit. Is that the fact checkers didn't come out until the truth, till they couldn't hide the truth no more.
Right.
Because I don't want to say until the truth came out.
Right.
The truth been coming out. Right. But till they couldn't hide it no more, it's like now you got fact checkers, right?
Right.
So it's not like people ain't always been lying. People always been lying. As long as people have been telling the truth, people have been lying, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So why wasn't it never no need for fact check before till now? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now that people is on these different media outlets, right? Because that's essentially what they are, media outlets, and they're saying things that a lot of the mainstream media doesn't talk about, right?
Right.
for for good reasons, for their own interests, right?
Right.
So now you got the whole fact check shit, right? So yeah, I want you to play that video of my man Eddie Griffin, addressing the fact checkers. You know what I
Right.
mean? As we're gonna start to get into some new shit, or whatever. Shift some gears.
Are you sure you want to go to Eddie Griffin's page? Because the fact checkers have said false information. No, I'm delivering truth as I see it. Now, I thought YouTube was about opinions. That's why it's called YouTube. It's my tube. It's my YouTube, mother. Y'all can't tell me what to fucking say and how to say it. You shouldn't have wrote freedom of speech if you didn't want motherfuckers to use that goddamn shit. Now, I don't know who the fact checkers is, but you need to check the facts and send me a list of these fact checkers, because you don't have them. You lying sons of bitches. Yeah, where the fuck they getting their facts from? Facts are relative. God damn it. Is it a fact that a female can box a dude? Is it a fact that you can tell a kid that he can change his sex at motherfucking 8, 9, 10 years old? Is that a fact checker? Are you not a male when you're born with 2 balls and a dick? Fact check that. Are you not a female when you're born with 2 ovaries and a clit? Fact check that, you fact checking motherfuckers. Oh yeah, and I'm going against community guidelines. What is the community guidelines, huh? Send me that. What community are you talking about? My community? Or your community? Or Chinese community? Or Asians community? Or Israel community? What community are you talking about? UK community? What community? You don't like what I say, you don't have to be on my motherfucking network. That's all I'm saying. Freedom of choice. They can click on or click the fuck off, but stop trying to lead them in the click off motherfucking position. Before I sue you motherfucker, because you owe me goddamn money, you sons of bitches. Now, fact check that. Tat.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how you got to deal with these fact checkers. Facts are relative. How can you fact check something? You know what I'm saying? Like realistic, you can check for lies, right? But but to fact check something is to suggest that somebody is lying from the rip.
Right.
You're already starting off just disingenuous because you're suggesting that I'm lying.
Right.
Right. Who are you to say that you have the facts? Right. Facts are factors in the equation. So you can't. Right. So if I point out a factor that needs to be equated for us to get the true value of what we're dealing with here, on some mathematical shit, you can't say that's like, all right, if you got $7 in this pocket and $9 in that pocket, and somebody come along and tell you that you can't use the $9. Even though you do actually have $9 in your pocket, but somebody no, you can't. You only really have 7. That's what fact checkers do. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. Like. It's like, no, this is really a 9 in my pocket. I really got $9 in my pocket. Oh no, but no. You know what I mean? Fact checkers just suppress the facts. That's what they do. They check the facts. They just like in hockey, when you check somebody, they knock the facts out the equation. That's what they do.
Right. Let's see here. What else there was? That thing came across our little viewpoints. That thing came across our timeline. It's been a few things. They've been highlighting a lot. Oh yeah, I was saying about that violence. Look at this. Oh yeah, because since they're talking about Chicago, let's talk about Chicago. This comes out of Chicago. A couple of days prior. Let's see here. What's up with you? Salute.
City
He lives here, and he knows.
And folks who live in Chicago's most violent neighborhoods are really frustrated that Chicago's crime problems likely won't get any attention at the DNC this week. This past weekend alone, more than 30 people were shot and 6 killed in violence across the city. And that
controlling and telling our government to shut down small businesses and what they recommend for the mandates of the vaccines and Pfizer and all. At the time when COVID was being enacted, I'm going to read off the staff of who's in charge of this in CDC. The director
had on there.
Yeah, that was I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, that shit pulled another video that wasn't even there.
What the fuck?
Struggle semen.
Oh, my John just fucked up. Yeah, something just happened. Yeah,
300 includes a lot of innocent children, like 7-year-old Jaimani Amir Rivera. Earlier this summer, Jaimani was his mom asked him to take a cooking pot to a neighbor next door when a 16-year-old gunman, for no apparent reason, started shooting towards the apartment building. This was around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, just around 5 blocks from the United Center, where Democrats are their mother. Politicians in this deep blue city have allowed this to continue for decades.
We're losing babies. You know, we're not losing the elderly as fast as we're losing our young people. They're not even getting a chance to grow up. Who can I trust? So I don't know who to vote for. I'm not even getting help with my own city, you know, trying to figure out what happened to my son. It's not fair.
Right.
It's just not.
This weekend, a group of officials in the violence-plagued Austin neighborhood raised a lot of eyebrows when they called out city leaders and the Democratic Party as a whole, saying in a statement, Chicago cannot claim to be a world-class city ready to showcase its best on the global stage while neglecting the people who gave this city its soul. We cannot allow the spectacle to overshadow the urgent need to address the violence that is tearing our community apart. While violent crime as a whole is down year over year compared to the decades highs that Chicago has seen, the violence is still up more than 50% when you look at 4 years ago before the pandemic.
Man, these motherfuckers is demonic. This is the demonic cracks. They're having a convention at the center hub of the fucking demolition that they fucking put on this fucking country. Think about it. Chirac, that's where we got all of these dudes that's rapping about smoking each other, killing each other, family members and shit like that, right? And this is the shit that they publicize, right? They invite these people to the White House, you know, to have these people speak at conventions, right? Mm-hmm. They literally back the violence and ignorance that's put out here by the mainstream media, right? You know what I mean? Like it's crazy as shit, yo. So for them to have this shit, you know, in Chicago, right? The demonic cracks, right? To have the convention in dangerous Chicago, right? Not only is it creating La La Land wherever the fuck they want, just like how they had the Olympics in Paris, where Paris is fucked up, right? When we talked about that shit. These motherfuckers, they have a convention in a crime-riddled city where people is fucked up, and it's like, all right, we're gonna come in here with all this fancy shit and set up all this shit, and all these millionaires gonna come here and talk and all this fluff and act like they care about people in here, and then they gonna get in they fancy cars and private jets and go away. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is ridiculous. It's a slap in the face to everybody who live in that city, yo. Right. People dealing with real issues, like how you seen that, how the sister was talking about, and they come in there talking some La La Land shit, some next year type shit. Well, motherfuckers need help right now. Like, y'all, all of the motherfuckers got the ability to help people in that fucking city right the fuck now, not tomorrow, not next election season, not on January 5th or whatever the fuck they talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, get that shit right the fuck now.
Right.
Like,
Immediate.
that shit is crazy. Like, these people have millions of dollars. Like, it's like millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's a convention of them. So you got like literally billions of dollars in this place, and these people is going to sit out here and talk pipe dreams to people, right? While they sitting on money that they can help. That, like, if they really cared about the people that in Chicago and what's happening in Chicago, right? Then why can't they help the people? Shit, the mayor can't help the fucking people, right?
They could have ended poverty in Chicago. They could have ended. They could have ended. Chicago could have been an A1 city with the cost that they spent on just the security alone,
Like
the wages.
like being the mayor of Chicago and having a convention in your city is like inviting your family to your house and you got roaches. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they just all over the place, and you can't even hide them. Like, you know, and your family like, yo, I ain't coming back here. It's filthy here. You know what I'm saying? And you just like, hey, you know, trying to act like you don't see the roaches all over the damn place, right? And not to call people roaches, but what would be considered a roach would be the crime and the bad shit that's happening. Those would be proverbial roaches. You know what I'm saying? So these things that are not supposed to be happening, that are happening all around, right? Those would be considered what we would, in this regard, a roach, right? Not people. You know, just to put that in proper context. You know what I mean? For people who try to like twist words and narratives and shit. You know what I mean? But this shit is fucking crazy. That they will have a glitz and glamour event right in the middle where people is struggling, right? Fuck out of here, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. When you say that you want better for these people, you saying that the Republican motherfuckers, they only worried about the rich people, right? That's what they saying, right? But y'all pulling up, y'all pull. I guess you think that you're an underdog for the people or something by having the convention in Chicago, right? And of course, y'all not worried about being caught up in no violence and shit because y'all got your armed guards and all this shit, right? But then you want to talk about gun control. You know what I'm saying? But you wouldn't be able to pull up at your events if you didn't have guns. At your own events.
Right.
But I digress.
You got to clean up your own backyard first. And don't be on no other areas. But that's how, you know what I mean? Like, what else then came across my timeline of importance?
But they got us, begging these people to do something for us, right? Where it's like, all right, even when they talk about like the price capping on shit, right? What the boy was explaining when he said consumers control, the price. Let me give an example, right? All right, when shout out to Flossie Carter. When Flossie Carter gives a review on the phone and he says that shit is what do you say? TGH too goddamn high or some shit. You know what I mean? And nobody wants to buy this phone because it's considered too expensive, right? So people buy the lower tier option, right? The peasant phone, right? And they find that this phone suits my need, right? And people start buying this cheaper phone, right? That data, right? Of course, these people can, they collect data on everything, and you have the ability to control your data because you have the ability to give these people the kind of data that you want them to have, right? So when they get that data back and they saying that, okay, well, these people is not buying this phone that we put out and we put a price hike on it, so not buying it. Okay, so we got to bring the price down. And then the next time they do that, the next time they put out a phone, they're gonna say, well, the last time we put out a phone, we try to put it up by $200, they ain't buy it. So we got to do something else. You know, we got to come up with a deal or something, right? Maybe if we offer them, you know, Beats headphones, then they'll take it. You know what I'm saying? So when you don't buy shit that's expensive, they're forced to change the price of that shit. Now, in this case, when you're talking about groceries, you know, shit, how many options do you have? You know, you can, I would say, you know, go to, you know, other communities, you know, like here, if you go to the Amish community, or, you know, go to other different, you know, mom and pop markets and shit like that, those would be considered an option. So if this market here wants to have high prices, then go to the other market, right? And then those people will realize, okay, then nobody's buying our shit because we need to lower the price. We need to put shit on sale, because at the end of the day, people is trying to make profit, right? So when you force these people, how you force prices down is when you stop buying shit that people try to make you spend money for, right? So even like all the time they talk about, they're saying, oh yeah, movie ticket sales are going down, you know, dining is going down. You know, these businesses are closing, right? We report all this shit to you, right? And the thing is because when people start putting their money in other places or budgeting or whatever, these companies suffer from that. And then they got to come up with some type of solution. And often that solution is a sale, a deal, a discount, a rebate, something where you're going to get something. So that's how you control prices, is when you start taking responsibility for the things that you can do in your own life and stop delegating that shit to somebody else. Then some of these wheels will start turning, because then at the very least, these people will see that you're serious about what the fuck what you want for yourself. But if you just party and dance and yeah, whatever, and it's cool because they're going to do it. You know, my responsibility is, oh, so and so is going to take care of it. You know, people like that will get manipulated and used and lied to every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah.
But, you know, speaking of that, Phil Donahue died. You know, and you know, I not to glorify somebody's death, but you know, a lot of people say that Khalid Muhammad, you know, took him out, took him out before he checked out, you know, and he died. I think he was 88 years old, you know, which is that's a whole nother can of worms. But I want to play this clip right.
Appeared to bespeak a position, a political position, in which you have no interest at all in reaching out and hoping and working for a multiracial community of harmony and peace. Am I correct in saying you have forsaken that idea?
My arms are tired, Phil. We've reached out for 500 years.
Too late now.
We faced tanks. We faced water hoses and cattle prods. Vicious dogs bit the breast of black women off in those protest marches of the civil rights movement. Vicious four-legged dogs sicked on us by two-legged dogs, bit into the groin and the private parts of black men, women, and children. So, Mr. Donahue, I believe that the white man is absolutely disagreeable to live with in peace, and that no one has been able to get along with him nowhere on the face 196,940,000 square miles of the planet Earth.
And so you will continue this rhetoric. You will continue
action.
And action. Action. What kind of action? Strategy to effect what in the United States of America? Let's start with us.
No wise general sits with a representative of the opposition to discuss battle strategy and battle plans before the entire world. I don't think that would be wise. But the mission of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the mission of my spiritual father, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, whom I love very much, and I want to be in that number when he takes 1 million black men to Washington, D.C. to call for reparations and justice.
And see, they got rid of people like that. They got rid of brothers like that, man. They got rid of that energy altogether. Now people talk to you about equity, right?
Right.
Pulls you away from reparations. You know what I'm saying? And it's like now it's to the point where, you talking about reparations to certain people, they just look at you like, oh man, here you go. Are you one of those black people?
Yeah, they don't understand it.
It's crazy.
Right.
It's like, all right, like it's just like this. It's like this. If somebody steals your shit, right? And then let's say your neighbor, steals your lawnmower or some shit, right? And y'all go at it or whatever, and then like let's say a neutral party, or another neighbor or whatever, get y'all to squash the beef and shit, and they say, okay, well, how about matter of fact they hit you on some Friday shit, on some red shit, like it's kind of like it's both ours, but I just keep it down at my house. You know what I'm saying? But they stole your shit. Like they stole your shit, and they telling you like, yeah, it's kind of like it's both ours. I just keep it down in my house for you. You can use it whenever you want. I'll keep it right here for you. No, I want my shit back. I want my shit back. You go get your own shit. I don't want to share nothing with a thief. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about reparations, repairing the damage, as the great Khalid Muhammad would say, right? These people want to give you repair rations, as I would say, right? So they rationing out the repairs that come to no avail, right? Because they haven't even rationed out how they even going to go about that shit. But what your new leader proposes, right? That you be cool with sharing shit with them. Sharing shit with the people who stole from you and benefit from having the shit that you supposed to have, right? They benefit from you being disenfranchised, right? And you're supposed to be okay with that and just share with them, right? Now, needless to say, you wouldn't do that with no ninjas, right? We can't stand ninjas around us. Like, we grow up in certain places. Everything is a competition. Even conversation is a competition. So you wouldn't dare want to share nothing with another ninja, right? But they can convince you to share with people who benefit from your disenfranchisement, right? And and theft of your ancestors. Share with those people. Don't be made whole. Just share with those people who benefit from all of that bullshit. That's what you're telling me. That's out of pocket. What you think, Pope? How do you feel about my perception of that?
So, what you feel about your perception on it?
I said, how do you feel about my perception on like this whole equity, de facto communist type shit?
Well, clearly they, like they say, when something goes wrong at the circus, you got to send in the clowns. And it's clearly this is not random. I should say this is strategic and it's planned. So it's just them orchestrating a scenario and situation. Just like at the beginning of this video, it's like as soon as she started talking, I never seen her talk before until she started trying to run and shit. Then as soon as I seen her talk, I'm like, where have I heard this before? Oh, I know exactly where I heard this before. I immediately went to the videos. That's a direct no. They tried this before, and because most of those people, coincidentally, has passed on, that remembered, especially the people that was there, the ones who would have did something, the ones that they didn't get to already. You feel me? So they figured, hey, might as well run it again. Nobody else will remember. And the rest of these kumbaya people, you know what I mean? They just gonna let that shit rock, and they gonna press the issue because they was meant to do that in the first place. From them first people that came through here, the coolies, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Motherfuckers, when they first got over here, it was people that was willing to give it up. You mean I can have a nice house and stuff? Only thing I got to do is what you say. They bit, and you mean you'll tell me a little more knowledge if I let you do some nasty things to me, or let you speak Greek to me.
Right. Yeah, let's get into some of that shit, man.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Because
I do got to get in. I got school in the morning, so I'm push. Let's see here. Oh, did you see that other one when they were showing the little chaos that was supposedly that was going on outside?
Against darker skin tones. It's an interracial issue that the Black community has debated for centuries. In this episode of Crossing Over Black Greek Life, join me as I explore if colorism has been a problem in these organizations. Have you ever been told you weren't good enough? In a sense, colorism and texturism do that, and it's taught at a young age.
Dealing with discrimination of light-skinned black versus dark-skinned black.
Not only do I have to deal with what goes on, the racism from ignorant people who are of other races, you have to deal with the poor mindsets of people who are African American.
What's good hair, what's bad hair, and why the term good and bad?
Well, the straighter the better, so to say.
Is that what you think?
No, I don't think so personally.
Why not?
But that's what we've been programmed to think.
We've debated these topics for centuries. Who's prettier, who's smarter, who's better? But the bottom line is, it hurts everyone.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind being that color. I feel like I'm tortured in a way. Because of my daily issues and what I'm going through and what I'm trying to get at in life.
Since I was a girl, I've heard rumors about colorism and texturism seeping its way into Black Greek life. I could never understand if it was fact or fiction. But before I pick apart this debate, I wanted to make sure I understood the origin of colorism. Why do we carry this burden around in the first place?
So can you define what colorism is?
Yeah, so colorism is discrimination that occurs based upon one's skin tone, and it happens within a particular racial group. And so colorism can occur across groups, or it can occur within a group. So for example, you could be someone who identifies as black, and you could discriminate against folks who are darker skinned relative to folks who are lighter skinned.
Does it only exist in communities of color?
So definitely in communities of color. Some might argue that it exists within the dominant racial group in America, which is white people, but it's not something that's necessarily unique to black people.
So the origin for African Americans is pretty straightforward. It goes all the way back to slavery. Different skin tones started popping up in this time, and it complicated the black community's relationship with itself, especially in places like Louisiana, where there was a large mixed-race population. But how does that affect organizations like Black Greek Life?
Is there any evidence showing that for black people, it was difficult to get into schools or, say, fraternities if their skin color wasn't acceptable?
I came across a book that Henry Louis Gates wrote, and the book was published in the mid-1990s, but he was in part reflecting on his experience as a student at Yale University, I believe in the late 1960s. And he talked about going to a party, and when he was heading into the party, there was a paper bag on the door, and if you were darker than the paper bag, you couldn't go to the party.
Here's where it gets kind of murky. There are several accounts of people saying they've experienced exactly what Lori is describing. Audrey Kerr, a professor who specializes in functional intersectionality, says sororities at Howard University use things like the paper bag test to determine admission. Those stories are even used in the plot of the Spike Lee movie School Days. But on the other side of that debate, some say there wasn't much evidence to support these claims at all.
One of the major criticisms that black fraternities and sororities have faced over time is elitism.
So, all right, so if that's not the case, then why is it everybody that they want us to look up to is of a lighter hue? You know what I'm saying? For black people, think about it. You know, you got Obama, you got what they calling her, I forgot what they call it. They mixed their name together. I don't even know how to say it, but Kamala, you know, we just call her name I guess that's how do you say her name? It's Kamala, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's Kamala. You know, I know Trump. He be saying Kamala. You know, just like the Kamala from wrestling, right? That died the same day that Joe Biden picked her to be a VP, be his VP. You know, which is kind of suspect. You know what I mean? I guess that's just a coincidence. Kamala, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the difference between you know Sherelle Parker and Kamala Harris. You know what I mean? And it's like, how come we don't have like real dark skinned brothers and sisters, you know, at the forefront of things in this political situation, right? You know, and that's what a lot of black people aren't waiting for, or really to validate that. Like, yeah, we ain't really had no real black person in there. You had people that's like kind of black. Obama was kind of black. You know what I mean?
Almost.
Kamala is kind of black.
No.
You know?
No.
No, I'm saying on the official scale. On the official scale, we can argue whatever, but on the official scale, you know, they're kind of black. You know?
She knows black people.
Yeah, they not like you know, brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
You had the cookout and all that. Like, you know what I mean?
They be over there. They don't be playing spades and playing dominoes and shit, but they be at the cookout.
They be out there with throwing bean bags and holes and shit. Like, you know, shit like that. Like,
right.
I'm joking, man. I'm just joking. You know, but you know, because I know it's some brothers and sisters out there like, oh, wait a minute. Like, you know what I'm saying? I like that game. But, you know, whatever, man. But y'all get what I'm saying, man. These people is kind of black, you know. They're not all the way, you know. So when you see this, you know, where they're saying that, remember these dudes are saying they Qs, and you know, you got Kappas and Divine Nines and all this. You know, this is the kind of shit that these people is dealing with, you know, whether they want to admit it or not. You know what I mean? Like, even like, all right, where did Spike Lee get that shit from them? You think he just made it up, right?
Right.
Art imitates what? Reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of that was manifested in the stories about the brown paper bag test, meaning people were denied membership in organizations if their skin was darker than a brown paper bag. There are anecdotal stories about this happening and people have written about it, but there's really some conflict in terms of the research.
Colorism and elitism are complicated topics, so I thought I'd meet with our expert in person for this one.
As somebody who's been to a lot of archives and looked at archival footage, I've seen people much darker than me in those groups in the 1930s and 40s. So I think in pockets that happened, but in terms of that being a unilateral motive for those organizations, I mean, I can think about members of Alpha Phi Alpha that are really dark. That's at the very beginning.
But for those organizations that did have those issues, I mean, were they primarily in the South? Were they in the North?
Yeah, it's a range of places. I mean, I've heard stories about some of the colorism at a place like Howard, where that would happen. That's D.C., and people decide whether D.C. is the South or not. They go back and forth. So just in different places. But you didn't have as much of that later on, because when the HBCUs in the South became accredited in the 1940s and 1950s, They were really just trying to add members.
Just limited to a couple places.
Yeah, it's just, I think, just very limited. Like I said, I personally think a lot has been made of that. Probably too much has been made of it.
Because I think that was a main plot in School Days.
Yeah, that was one of the issues in terms of colorism. And so, like I said, there was issues different places. But it could have been an issue who got certain roles in the church. I mean, colorism played a role a lot of places and how people moved in society. They were able to do certain things. They saw that.
So that's it. Both points exist somewhere within the truth. But isn't it a relief to know that we've grown past paper bag tests and skin color admissions?
Right. Yeah. I don't believe that shit. I mean,
I don't believe in none of that colorism. I don't believe in no division.
No, I'm saying they saying that it don't exist no more. They saying that was a thing of the past. But all right, the thing is this: is that there was hundreds of different black Greek fraternities, right, or sororities, right, and them Jones got wiped out, and we only left with 9. That's why they call it Divine 9, right? It's like the 9 circles of hell. Right, but the ones that got wiped out was the ones that was more Africanized. You had ones that had African symbols, people who spoke Swahili. You know what I mean? And those are the ones that was more black conveniently just went extinct, right? And these more refined,
experiments.
Yeah.
Experiments.
I was just going to say these more refined groups, right? That's
right.
enough. I think that's enough. That's enough
sauce.
Yeah,
right.
That's enough sauce right there. These refined groups, right? They're the ones that last, right? It's bullshit, man. So that's why he talked about the Qs running the media. And you see who's more successful than who, even in the media area, right? So even in the political landscape, you see the same thing. Who's more successful than who? If that's not a thing, then why is it like that? You know what I'm saying? So these people, they got a job to do, and they're gonna do their job. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. For everybody involved.
So I guess we could we could follow up with the rest of this shit later on.
Yeah, for sure. Start fresh.
Yeah, because it's 6 o'clock in the morning, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, we're gonna come back with the second half of this shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we're just gonna leave it there. You know what I mean? So if you come across vital information, it's your obligation to share it with the nation. You know what I mean?
Yep. So for sure. And words without action have no meaning. If it takes a village, we built this one. Salute.
It's better to know something and believe it. Truth is undefeated. You know what I'm saying? I share peace and benedictions. Only you and only you can prevent cognitive dissonance. And we out. Peace.